Hi Tea Lights, it's Tiffany. Welcome back to my channel. If you are returning, if it's your first time, thank you for clicking on that video. Today I'm going to be discussing how I passed my real estate broker state exam the first time around and some study tips on how you can accomplish that in the classroom and on your state exam as well. Stick around if that's for you. Okay, so like I stated, I passed, not only did I pass my state exam the first time around, whoop, whoop, but our class and my instructor joked that I was the valedictorian of the class because I scored the highest on all three of my exams in the classroom. I was determined to do that, and if I could do it the first time around, you can too, and I'm going to share with you some strategies and tips that I use to ensure that I understood the concepts and that I could recall the information quickly. So, 8 steps. The first step is during class time. I took my licensing course through RECP, that's Real Estate Certification Program. I will leave the link below if you guys are interested in checking it out. They are an excellent program. They held our classes at Ivy Tech here in Indianapolis for the agent licensing course, and then for the broker course I went to Indiana Wesleyan University for the broker course. So we had 2 books. This is the Modern Real Estate Practice by Fillmore W. Galati and Wellington J. Alloway and Robert C. Kyle. This is an excellent book, as well as the student manual, which was Real Estate Principles, edition 18.2. Very thick. This one has quizzes in it. This one has tests in it. The quizzes and the tests are completely different from each other in these 2 books, but they teach the same concepts. And if you can understand the concept of something, you will always be able to answer the questions no matter how they word the questions to trick you. Okay, because these tests, these quizzes are intentionally worded to trip you up. And so let me get into the tips on how you can be prepared for not only your state exam, but your test in class. We had 3. I'm not sure what your state requires, but here in Indiana, we had 3 at the time that I went through. So this notebook is full. This notebook is full. So I'm going to give you 8 studying tips to pass. So the first one is during class. So during class, take thorough notes. As you can see, I have 2 books here. Just pay attention to the notes that your instructor is writing on the board, dry erase the board, whatever. Write that down. If your instructor takes the time to write down anything for the class, please copy it. They are placing it up there for a reason. Please copy it. Take thorough notes, all right? Write down every question that you have so that you can get clarity from the instructor. So anytime you hear them say something that you are not clear on, jot that down so that you can refer back to it later and raise that question in class. Because if you have that question, I guarantee you somebody else in that class has the same question. They just may not have the confidence to ask. Okay, so everyone's in there to learn. Nobody knows what they're doing. Everyone's scared and intimidated. They really want to pass because you have a score minimum. At least when I did it here, we had a score minimum of 75. If you got below 75, you had to retake the test. And I believe if you retook the test one time and you failed it, that was it. You had to take the class all over again. So we had 3 of those, okay? I got 91% on my first test. I think 88 or something on my second one. Let me look because I wrote it down. Okay, so I wrote it down here. I had a 91 on my first test, and for my second exam, I got an 88. And my third exam, I think it was 90 something. I didn't write that one down, but I took a picture of it, so I have it somewhere. If I find it, I'll post it for you. So I did really well on these tests and these quizzes, just so you guys understand that. So write down every question that you have so that you can get clarity from the instructor. I took in person. You can take these classes online or in person. Online has its place because you can work at your own pace around your schedule if you're too busy. But I like in-class courses because you can feed off of other students. You can feed off of their questions, the conversation, the discussion happening in a classroom. You guys, it's so much more enriching when you actually are there, and you can immediately ask questions, pose questions to your instructor, as opposed to being online and having to wait for someone to get back to you. So anyways, those 2 tips were in the classroom. So at home, read every assignment and take notes while reading the day of class if possible. So immediately, I would say I would not wait the following day if you can help it. Once you leave your class, once class has been dismissed and you're at home, I suggest studying the course material from that class that evening. Everything is fresh on your mind. Your notes are fresh. The discussions are fresh. I just think it's best to just, because there's so much information, you have so many terms to remember. Here in Indiana, we had a lot of math. Contract law is important. Those 3 things here in Indiana are key. For any real estate agent, your exam was going to be key for you. I think some states only require mostly terminology and contract law. So you need to know that. So it's best, I think, to study the material the day it was taught. Okay? So that way, everything is just fresh. I suggest, this is what I did. I highlighted. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm looking down because I wrote so many notes. As I read, I will highlight key points, anything that stood out to me, underline, cross-reference materials. If I noticed information that correlated with what I was reading, I would go to that. Maybe it was a previous chapter, or maybe it was in the second book that I was showing you guys. We had 2 books. Sometimes I would stop what I was reading and go reference the second book, just to further elaborate and get a deeper understanding on whatever the subject was that I was reading about. Also, make notes in margins as you have those aha moments or even questions. So whenever you're reading something and you have a moment that the light bulb just goes off, stop when you're reading it and jot down notes right there beside the passage. Whatever applies. Context brings clarity. So I feel as though when you have that aha moment when you're reading something, jot that down right beside it. And if you want to, write it in your notes as well, your notebook pad, but jot that down immediately, because a lot of times your brain is working subconsciously and you don't realize it, and the information is settling and you're gaining understanding of the knowledge that you just acquired. And then you have these aha moments that for somewhere subconsciously, all of the dots are connecting, and all of a sudden you totally grasp the concept and the information that goes along with the concept. So whenever those moments happen, write that down right beside the passage in the manual. Write it down in your notes so that you can cross-reference this stuff, because I guarantee you're going to have so much information coming in that you're going to forget it. And so to be able to go back and reference the passage from the text and see what you gleaned from it at that moment, it just solidifies it in your mind. So number 4, take every chapter quiz immediately after studying the chapter. This is what I did. I took every single time I studied my chapters, I took my notes, I wrote down my aha moments. I took the quizzes immediately following reading it. Take breaks when you need breaks. Don't overload, because you have to give yourself a brain break, because if you don't, you won't retain anything. You won't get it. You'll frustrate yourself. Whenever I got tired, I needed a drink, restroom break, a snack. Do that. Stop and listen to your body, okay? Because it's a lot. So after every chapter, take the quiz that pertains to that chapter immediately, okay? While the information is fresh. Number 5, while taking the quiz, skip over the questions that you are not sure about or just simply don't know. This saves time and is especially important when taking a state exam. Mark all unanswered questions with an asterisk or something so that you don't miss it later. So whenever I'm taking a test, I will always skip over, because I want to stay in the momentum of knowing, okay? If something is jamming me up, I don't want to get caught in that moment of confusion. So you want to keep the information, the process flowing. So I just skip over. If I don't know it, I go to the next question. And I just keep hitting all the questions that I know the answers to. And every question that I don't have the answer for, I place an asterisk next to it. I will circle the number, highlight something so that it grabs your eye so that you don't skip that question later. I do this for all my quizzes and all my tests, including state exams, because you don't want to waste time. So get all the information out that you know so that you're settled and you're at peace with what you've done. And you can come back and take that time to really meditate and think about the questions that you're not sure about, okay? This is especially important for time tests. I don't know how each state is, but I mean, it's not necessarily time, but you really only are allotted so much time for class, and you're only allotted so much time for the state exam. They're not going to stay open 24 hours. I mean, you have to get through it. So this is still a great tactic for taking these tests. So yes, just skip over the questions that you're not sure about or the ones you just don't know at all. Answer all the questions that you are sure about and mark, and then go back to those questions that you left blank and answer them then, okay? Number 6, you can always refer back to other questions in order to answer another one. So a lot of times in these, a tactic for answering these questions, I wish I wrote down an example, but a lot of times they will ask in these tests the same type of question repeatedly, but it's just phrased differently each and every time. But if you understand the concept, then you will answer the questions. You'll understand what they're asking for. Allowing a previous question to answer your current question, because there may be some similarities between the two, like maybe in a definition, but there are some distinct differences in the definition. It will help you jog your memory by comparing the two terms and the two definitions. I do that a lot. Also, another tip is, for example, this is a question in this student manual. It says, which of the following best describes earnest money? They will have some truth in each of the answers sometimes, or maybe two of the answers, but one of them is completely true. Like for instance, it says, which of the following describes which of the following best describes earnest money? You have to circle best describes, okay? They try to trip you up. A, the consideration for the sale of the property. B, the money put up by the buyer at the time the offer is made. C, the commission to be paid to the broker. D, the money to be used for paying some of the closing costs. Now, the earnest money is some of the money used to pay for some of the closing costs, but that's not the best answer. The best and complete answer is B. It's the money put up by the buyer at the time the offer is made, because the earnest money has a time expiration on it. So you have to have that earnest money in by a certain point, based on your state law. I believe it's based on your individual state law. So that's the complete and best answer. So they specifically throw these words in there just to kind of like trip you up, best. And I like to circle those words. So number 7, mark all incorrect answers, then immediately go back and restudy the applicable sections until you fully understand the concept. Then retake the whole quiz or test, not just the ones you got wrong. So like I said before, I would mark those questions that I got wrong But after I took the test, I would go back and I would read every section that pertained to each question that I got wrong. Okay. And once I fully understood, or I felt that I fully understood, I would not only just re-answer those questions, I would take the entire quiz over as though I never took it. Okay. And until I got a 100%. Okay. And usually it only took me twice. I think one time I had to take it 3 times. But I would take it over until I got every last one of those questions right. That way, you know, after reading all of the material, now you're back at the question that you got wrong last time. Okay, is my brain exhausted? Am I able to really fully understand this question and answer this question? Or am I just going straight from the answer to the question and answering the question? It doesn't work that way. Okay, so you're going to see in these tests, they're going to recycle the same questions over and over and over again. They're going to pose the question to you differently, just to make sure you understand the concept. The state exam is the same way. I sat through that state exam like, oh my God, if I have to answer this question one more time. So it's like, yes, I got it, I understand. Okay. And 9 times out of 10, this is valid information, but throughout the daily activities, your daily grind, you're not utilizing most of this material in your daily transactions. Some of it will pop up because every transaction is different. So you definitely want to know all of your terms. You want to know contract law. And you here in Indiana, you want to know your math. The math is no joke. Real estate math is no joke. But if you study it, you can get it. And tip number 8, I almost forgot. Scheduling your state exam as close to the end date of your class as possible. So that way, all the information is at the forefront of your mind and you can breeze through that baby as much as possible. And remember the steps that I told you guys, skip over the questions. We were able to go back to previous pages in our state exams. I'm not sure how everyone else's is set up, but we were able to, it saved the information and we were able to go back to those previous pages. And I would just mark down on a sheet of paper where I left off, where my question was, so that I could go straight to it. So I would not, leave any answer. So I would not leave any question unanswered. So get that state exam done ASAP. As soon as your licensing course ends, get it done. So, yeah, there you go. Okay. So anyways, I hope that helped. I hope it wasn't too all over the place, but anyways, if you have any questions, if you're about to take your real estate exam, or you're in class to get your license, or you're thinking about getting your license and you want to enroll, check out RACP link below and see if they have it in your area. And just leave any questions for me. I would be happy to answer them for you guys in an upcoming video. If I get enough of the same question, I will make a dedicated video to answer that question. So yes, I really love this stuff. I love real estate. It's just so vast and there's so many avenues you can take in this industry. And it's just so interesting to me. And so, yeah, it's just a lot of fun. If you have questions about the math, I can do a video on the math because I have like all these equations. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I need to refresh my memory on some of these equations, okay? Just because it's nice to know, you know, a lot of times you're not faced with these type of scenarios, but it's nice to know a lot of times, because sometimes your clients will ask you these questions about the math. So yes, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to cut it off here. You guys, thank you so much for watching. I know I've been MIA. There's lots of it going on. Maybe I'll do some update videos. But anyways, this is just a bonus clip at the end. My husband and I celebrated our 13-year anniversary. We celebrated here in our city with our friends, and then we went to Ohio to celebrate with my family. Just been doing a lot with my daughter and her extracurricular activities and homeschooling and all that stuff. And I'm still homeschooling as I am embarking upon my career again as a real estate agent. We are also considering a co-op, and so she can be around other students as well throughout the homeschooling process. So I am officially back working again and homeschooling. So we're going to see how this goes. So guys, if you're interested in a day in the life of real estate agent, homeschooling moms, all of that stuff, let me know. I don't want to bore you with things you don't want to see. But yeah, so yeah, we have a lot going on, and I will be updating you guys on our new project. So stay tuned for that one. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, follow me on my real estate journey. I'm back at it, and I'm excited about it. If you live in Indianapolis and you're a realtor, drop a comment below, or Indiana realtor, or just a realtor in general, drop a comment below. Let's connect and maybe answer some of these questions that people may have and all that good stuff. So I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.